The impossible happened on Sunday, and we are so excited to talk about it. What's going on, guys? I'm Nate. That's Brandon to my right. Welcome to the Third and 10 podcast, season 2, episode 26. Wow, after the past week where we doubted our guys, we didn't know if they're gonna come out with the win. These were the Cleveland Browns, Brian, and then all of a sudden on Sunday, this team just put on a show defensively, offensively. There's one guy in particular that did such an outstanding job, but overall, it was a great team performance. The Giants finally got their first win on the year. But first off, man, how you doing, man? Happy Tuesday to you.
I'm doing great. Victory Monday, Metro playing well. I do have one bone to pick with ABC, Fox, NBC, CBS, and it's during their football coverage.
Yeah.
They keep promoting these shows, watch this network television show, watch this crime show. Is anybody in 2024 still watching this stuff? I see especially last night, they kept having the commercial for that 911 show and kept hyping it up because of the bee apocalypse. That's the stupidest thing I think I've ever heard in my life. It's the most, all these shows are so stupidly unrealistic. And sure, I get entertainment, it's not going to be realistic, but I've seen shows where it's basically Hawaii 5-0. They had a Russian submarine 20 miles off the coast of Hawaii, and they sent a state trooper out there to go investigate it. Bro, they would have just shot it with a missile. There'll be no state trooper. The state trooper might have been shot. I'm going out there. Bang. No, you're not.
To answer the question, no, I personally don't. The whole 911 thing, I saw the commercial about that too, and it was what the whole city was getting invaded by bees
by
or
bees.
Something.
What's 911 gonna do about that?
No city has ever been invaded by bees. If that's the best thing you can come up with, I think.
Bro, they've done earthquakes, tsunamis, fire, bees. Guys, you run out of ideas. Cancel the show. We're done here. We're on the bees. First off, why is anyone still living in that area? All right, within the past 4 years, you've been hit by fires, an earthquake, a tsunami, and now bees.
At this point, that's when you know it's okay. Let's kind of just call the show off. Yeah, let's end the season with people leaving the city. Let them retire. The people that work as the fire department, let them retire. I don't have a good excuse for you, man.
No, it's just I'm watching this last night and it just kept popping up. I'm the more you pop this up, the more it's infuriating me. The more I'm just this can't happen.
It's literally impossible. Like I just said, for bees, that I don't know what to tell you. But you know what was not impossible? Was the Giants winning on Sunday, and they did, like we mentioned in the beginning, an outstanding job. Look, I know we'll just get right into it actually. But just a short preview real quick. We have the Giants to talk about. We'll talk about week 3. Thursday will likely be our next episode, so we'll give you guys a small preview of the Dallas game because the Giants.
It's a short week.
Yeah, it's kind of good. I like it. I don't mind it. But they do play the Dallas Cowboys on Thursday night, so that'll be fun to dive into. And then once our next episode on Thursday, we'll kind of go over the Dallas game again and go from there. But just for today, we'll do a short preview on that Thursday night game, and then we'll talk about Notre Dame because they beat Miami, Ohio.
Yeah. It's so oh my god,
it's they beat Miami.
The other Miami.
It's they're so bad.
The one that Ben Roethlisberger went to. Okay.
Yeah, not the Cam Ward Heisman leading.
No,
one.
not the cool one. In Ohio.
No one.
The one in Miami with the beautiful women and the star athletes. No, the one in cold Ohio.
No one thinks of Miami, Ohio when you mention the University of Miami. No one ever thinks.
Everyone thinks about the U.
Yeah, but
You know, this isn't Catholics versus convicts, guys. It's Catholics versus Midwesterners.
Yeah. Thank God you guys took care of business. Spoiler alert. Uh,
We the article's not up yet, but like I explained, we had some issues.
oh
There were
boy.
some problems if Notre Dame lost. If Notre Dame finished the way they started, it was problems.
Yeah. Okay.
Look out for Notre Dame the briefing this week. I don't know when it's going up. Soon.
Soon, probably by Thursday.
But yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. But Giants 21, Cleveland Browns 15. What an effing game, man. I mean, like, first off, look, I know we usually do like offense first and defense when it comes to like our breakdowns and whatnot. And I like to keep it that way. But just for today, can we please just talk about the defense like first? Because
Yeah.
I
That's where you start with because the offense is one guy.
yeah, and I did not expect this defense. Look, I expected the defense. We expected this defense to play at a high level. I mean, you sign guys like Brian Burns, and you have Dexter Lawrence, you have Kayvon Thibodeau, who's supposed to grow. Um, a solid linebacker core led by Bobby Okereke and all that stuff. And it's like, okay, this Giants defense needs to wake the F up. And
They woke up. Woke
they
up.
really woke up. 8 sacks total on Deshaun Watson. That's the equivalent of 48 yards lost when everything was said and done. Dexter Lawrence, 2 sacks. Jason Pinnock, a sack. Brian Burns finally got on the board and got a sack, which is actually a fumble force as well. Great job by him. Elijah Chapman played so well.
The hero of the preseason showing up in the regular season. What I like to see. That's what I like to see. That's like, Victor Cruz-esque. I'm not saying he's having the same impact, but like I like to see it when guys who did good in the preseason continue into the regular season.
Super proud of him, dude. Heck of a job by the undrafted free agent. Undersized, that does not matter. He did a hell of a job.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
He's undersized, but he's got a heart and he's willing to do anything out there. I'll take 100 of those kids on my team over the perfectly sized, the quote unquote perfect looking football player. I'll take the guy with heart and hustle every day of the week.
Dang right. Kayvon Thibodeau had half a sack, Okereke half a sack, Nunes Roches half a sack, and Micah McFadden had half a sack as well. Brian Burns, 2 pass deflections, by the way. The Giants in total hit Deshaun Watson 17 times. 17, led by Dexter Lawrence's 4 QB hits. 2 forced fumbles, like I mentioned, on Deshaun Watson. Ojulari recovered it, and Elijah Chapman recorded the other one. And overall, Deshaun Watson just 196 yards rushing or passing on the day and 69 yards rushing in total by the Browns offense as a whole. So overall, first off, holy crap. Look, everything was going to go downhill in my mind when and I don't understand why he continues to be back there. I know you want him to have a role on this team, but Eric Gray is not
Yeah, I mean,
a returner whatsoever. And he's still out there returning kicks.
yeah. Yeah, no, they're shoving a round object into a square hole. Like, guys, it's not working.
That's a good one. Yeah, I just don't understand. He's never been a returner. He didn't do it in college, maybe like once or twice, but not really good at it. We've seen it last year. Not good at it. So you might as well
practice. Like, what is it?
Mm-hmm.
Eric Gray should be a great returner. What body of evidence is there to suggest that at all? What is he doing? Is he taking every single kickoff back in practice? Is that what he's doing?
If that's the case, yes. Then
makes sense.
Other than that, don't even think about putting him out there anymore because at this point it's just a waste of time and nothing is working out. We saw it on Sunday. He fumbled and then
next play of the game's a touchdown. Like, hats off to the Giants to not, because if you're anyone on that sidelines, I mean, I had it in my house. It's a here we go again, like a bottoming out. Like, oh my God, we said it's the beginning of the gauntlet. We already were kind of under, a touchdown underdogs, and now within not even a minute of game time, we're down 7-0. A lot of guys can be like disparaged by that, and that's where I think we have to give credit to Brian Dable and the coaching staff because they've done enough to, I don't know if it inspires the right word, but give this team confidence that, hey, we had a bad start, but we can shake it off, and we're still in this game. Don't get down on yourselves now. Fight. Now is the time to fight.
And they really fought because that first play that Cleveland ran on offense when the Giants did fumble that kick return was a 24-yard touchdown pass from Deshaun Watson to Amari Cooper. So at that moment, I was like, these guys got to go. Like we got to bounce back. We got to score like fast. That didn't happen immediately, but the defense after
Defense
that
stiffened up.
touchdown, yep, punt, 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 fumble, end of the first half, punt, missed field goal, punt, punt, and then a touchdown and finally came for the Browns. But after that, it was fumble, turnover, and downs times two. So overall, the Giants
Ball game.
defense they shored up. I mean, they got the job done. After that touchdown allowed in that first on that first drive by Cleveland, they let that other touchdown, but that was like in the second half, and that was just one touchdown. Other than that, the Browns were held to 4 for 14 on third down, 1 for 3 on
Huge.
fourth down.
Get them off the field.
Yeah, got him off the field, baby. That's what we like to see. Just one red zone appearance by the Browns overall on the night. So just a heck of a job by our boys. And this is what we wanted to see. And the thing that surprised me the most, I heard about Deshaun Watson's press conference after the game. He talked about Shane Bowen and his defense and how he talked about how they blitzed more than usual. And that was pretty clear because, I mean, a lot of players on this team got at least half a sack.
Yeah, with the entire roster got a sack.
Yeah.
They wanted to, like, all right, who wants a sack now? Run out there and just try it the quarterback. Oh, Nabers, you want a sack? Hey, what the hell? Try.
But yeah, I mean, look, this defense, this is what we're supposed to do. We liked what we saw 2 years ago when Wink Martindale was the defensive coordinator and he was doing that blitz happy scheme. Of course, he did it last year as well, but more importantly, in 2022, that defense did a heck of a job and was the key, to making the playoffs. And I know Bowen isn't known for that blitz style, but I think he understood, like, hey, I have guys that can rush the passer, but I also have guys that we can run blitzes with, aka, Okereke, McFadden, Pinnock, for example, once again. These guys can rush the quarterback too.
Yeah.
And if you have those guys, it's going to open up things for Burns and Thibodeau and Lawrence because 5 guys can't block the whole dang defense, especially when you have 6-7 guys blitzing.
Yeah. No, I think what this game did was we're kind of seeing guys and Shea Bowen kind of get on the same page. They worked out the kinks in week 1 and week 2. Like, okay, this is not working, but this is really working. And now we're starting to see the actual playbook kind of come together. Like, okay, what's working? Oh, when we run blitz, this team does really well. All right, I'm not really a blitz guy, but I'm going to cater my playbook to what fits my guys best. And we can use these blitz packages that, maybe Wink used or I picked up throughout the years and maybe, tweak them a little bit so they can still do what I want to do, but we're playing to their strengths at the same time. It's a nice balance of, yes, this is what the scheme's calling for, but these players fit this style better. So let's, try to make a style that works for the both of us. That's good coaching right there. And we're going to have to, it's against Deshaun Watson, who might be the worst quarterback in the NFL right now. When everything's all said and done, it's the worst contract in NFL history, all that. Against Dallas, but we really are, I think, seeing this Shane Bowen impact on the defense. It took a little bit, but he's adjusted, and I think it's only going to get better from here. If you can get better from 8 sacks.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, it'll be hard to replicate that again. And obviously, we can't,
sacks every single game. You can rely on pass rush every single game, but you can't expect 40, minus 48 yards in losses every single game. That's just an unrealistic expectation. That's like playing Madden on rookie mode and you just hitting the quarterback.
And of course, we can't leave without saying that the Browns' offensive line was a bit routed up. Wyatt Teller, I believe, was hurt during the game, and that whole Cleveland offensive line, especially the tackles positions, they were injured as well. So that's maybe kind of why the Giants got to the quarterback as much as they did. But hey, it is hard to get 8 sacks in a game. The Giants got that job done. And look, if you keep running blitzes. That shows that you trust your corners to do what they did. I
Mm-hmm.
know Amari Cooper got like 7 catches for 86 yards. I understand that. But at the same time, everyone else on that offense, in terms of the pass catchers, didn't really do much. So as long if you can hold one guy, if you can just if only one guy is going off and everyone else pass catching wise is not doing so well, you'll be just fine. So
Yeah.
I know Cooper had 86 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns, but other
But
than
that was the
that,
only 2 touchdowns they
yeah,
had all game. So, like, it doesn't really matter. Okay, Amari Cooper went off. Okay, the defense allowed 15 points. Like,
yeah.
sure, let Amari Cooper go off. They're not winning. They're still not winning against us. We scored
Uh,
21.
as
It's
long as they're not
really that
scoring.
simple.
Yeah,
Like,
as long as they're not scoring.
you are just like, I understand, like, it's a concern, but, like, if you're looking at the defense as a whole, it's a nitpick to pick out Amari
Exactly.
Cooper, a very good wide receiver, I think
Yeah.
underrated in the NFL in his current, having almost 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. That was the only thing that was working for the Browns all day. Look at everything else. Everything else was terrible. So,
Yeah.
like, focus on that rather than just, okay, hey, this one tiny aspect was this player didn't even have 100 yards. He had a lot of yards. I'll live with, CeeDee Lamb, 7 yards, 87 receptions, and 2 touchdowns if the Giants can win on Thursday, 24-14. I will live with CeeDee Lamb going off.
um, but yeah, I mean, the Giants, when they did run blitzes on Sunday, they trusted their secondary to get the job done. Deontay Banks, Cordell Flott, who played 67 and 64 snaps respectively. They handled their business on the outside. In terms of snap counts, something I was I didn't like was Adoree Jackson getting 17 snaps, which is kind of low again, but I think as of right now, even though they did bring Adoree back and everything, it's clear the Giants do trust Flott on the outside, which is fine. Like, I don't mind that
Yeah,
at all.
no,
Andrew Phillips, once again, just continues to play well for this Giants team.
the
Um,
guy got hurt
yeah, that
in
was the
practice.
thing. Yeah, 7 snaps played actually, so I take that back. And you said he's injured. I
He didn't practice yesterday. I mean, this is the Giants' projected injury report. Shout out to Giants Wire. They're listing Drew Phillips and Adoree Jackson both sat out through Monday's walkthrough with calf injuries.
Okay, probably
I
for
mean,
the
everyone's
best.
kind of banged up because, like, it's a week later. Like, Dexter Lawrence is on the list, Micah McFadden, Darius Slayton. They all got banged up. They're all limited on Monday. You know,
Okay.
it's scary because it's a short week and, like, maybe we won't see Phillips on Thursday, which would suck. But,
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves because, like, if this game's on Thursday, Phillips might be better tracking the play rather than Thursday. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, this might be a 1 week injury because a fluke in the schedule. We have a game Thursday instead of Sunday that week.
Yeah, and then so on Thursday we'll likely um go over the injury report one more time just to make sure to see who's in and who's out. But in terms of if Phillips is out for Thursday's game, it will likely Adore will get more snaps, and we'll go
We'll
from
see
there.
Flott move back over to the slot and then
Mhm.
Adoree back on the outside. But I think
Probably.
they want to get Phillips has done probably been the MVP of the defense so far. So, like, they want to get it out there as much as possible. And I think they still want to work Flott in, which means, okay, hey, we got to take away from somebody. Well, Banks is young and he's our cornerback number one, not touching him. Phillips is playing out of his mind, not touching him. Okay, Adoree Jackson's the guy we signed off, we signed him before the season started.
Yeah.
He's getting up there in age. We know what he is. He's the easiest guy to take off the field and insert Flott in because it's just like we know what he is. Flott could be better than that.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye on everything throughout today and tomorrow, and we'll see what happens on Thursday when the Giants take on the Dallas Cowboys. But overall, outstanding play by this defense. Shane Bowen, thank you so much for blitzing more than you used to,
Doing
and
it.
please keep doing it because if we keep doing this, I think we have a great chance to beat. As much as I don't want to sound too positive about it, because we've Said it before, it's going to be hard to get wins in this gauntlet, like you mentioned a lot of the times, Brian, in the past. Beating Cleveland was a great start. And honestly, if we can beat Dallas, I think, not to say we're back because that's a stretch, but
Oh,
beating Dallas would be a great way to start
yeah.
the first 4 games after what happened in week 2 against
Mhm.
Washington.
Yeah, and it makes weeks 2 loss hurt more because, like, it's literally just like,
Yeah.
if we had a kicker, we would have beat the Commanders, and when we get into week 3 in total, I wanna spend some time on the Commanders because they are, oh boy. They
Dude.
are oh boy, they're scary. But, like, if we had a kicker, we win that game. So it's just like, the Giants, they beat Dallas on Thursday, could have been sitting in first place with everything all shaking out the way it has been.
We'd be 2-1, and we'd be just
2-1, NFC East tiebreak. I think actually we would be in first right now because the Eagles would be 2-1, but they don't have a division. We have a division win, so we would have a tiebreaker over them. We'd be
correct.
2-1 with a half game lead in the division, which, it's week 3. That means absolutely nothing, but it is nice. Hey, we were in first place at one
First
point.
place.
Something positive here, guys.
Confidence boost for this team, and confidence boost for the fans as well, to see their team at least in first
Start.
place.
we're not
Yeah.
we're not looking at draft boards in September again.
Well, hopefully that win against Dallas on Thursday kind of keeps the good vibes going. We'll talk about Dallas in just a bit, and well, let's go to the offense. What's the commercial go, Brian? Like a good neighbor, who's there?
State Farm.
Yeah, let's replace State Farm with Neighbors because
Yeah.
holy crap! I mean, look, I had some doubt that he wasn't going to be the best receiver in this draft because Romo Dunze was out there,
Martin
Martin
Harrison
Harrison's
Jr. is
going.
being propped up as this generational prospect. Like, oh god,
It's like,
like who's
yeah.
that? Like,
Yeah. Last time I checked, those guys are not putting up the numbers that Neighbors is playing or putting up, I should say. This guy, he is proving he's not only the best rookie receiver in the draft, and honestly, he might be proving himself as top 10. I know it's a stretch, but he's playing like a top 10 wide receiver. 8 catches, 78 yards, 2 touchdowns once
in
again.
the season so far, you can say that. Like, if you're
Yeah.
just doing these past 3 games, Malik Nabers might be a top 5 receiver in the league,
Yeah.
just squarely based off week 1 to week.
Because he's playing out of his mind. And the Giants, I feel like a lot of this offensive breakdown focus will mostly be on Neighbors. Because he is kind of the
That's the
main. Yeah,
offense.
he is the offense. Yeah, so 8 catches, 78 yards, 2 touchdowns against a Browns defense that, as we know, coming in had a solid secondary. Denzel Ward was going to be against Neighbors, along with Martin Emerson on the outside as well. So yeah, Neighbors was targeted 12 times, but he had just plays all game. He had that one catch on the sideline where he took it away.
Interception.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he took it away from Emerson. Like, holy crap. He had that nice
Touchdown
touchdown.
catch.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
the one on the left end zone, left part of the end zone where he kind of got 2 feet down before he put his hand on
yeah.
yeah. I like that one. And then he scored another touchdown before the half. For it was like a 5-yard touchdown catch in the red zone. Brian, I just
We have not seen a receiver like this.
yeah.
Like Beckham.
Yeah, and
Good.
it's great to see. Like, this guy is absolutely special. Personally, for me, I'm sure the same for you. I haven't been this excited since Saquon his rookie year, and you just mentioned OBJ,
Yeah.
his rookie season too.
Yeah.
I love him to death, dude. I'm speechless.
It's so crazy because, remember back to Hard Knocks, it was like losing Saquon. What's this offense's identity going to be now? It's very simple. It's Malik Nabers now. Malik Nabers is going to be the star of the offense with, whoever they get at quarterback and then whoever is supporting. Basically, we know that Malik and Wandale are two mainstays of this Giants special, skill position offensive for the next 5 years. I would
Yeah,
say they were pretty locked in. You got to fill out the rest, but at least get 2 centerpieces because we want to talk about Malik, and Malik did amazing. I don't want to underscore it, but Wan'Dale Robinson yet again with another solid game. 7 catches, 61 yards on 8 targets. Like, he's just becoming like he's not getting the attention because Malik rightly should be getting all the attention. But the Giants now have two really good receivers in this offense, and it's great to see. We haven't had a combination of receivers like this since, is it Cruz, Hakeem Nicks? We just feel confidence.
Ooh,
Like,
yeah.
all right, our receivers aren't going to let us down this time. Receivers aren't Golden Tate.
Oh man, those dude, remember Golden Tate, what David Sills,
Oh,
who else? Marcus Johnson in 2020.
Richie James.
I miss him. I
He was a
really
kickoff guy, you know? He was a kickoff guy.
yeah, and he somehow managed to be one of the Daniel Jones's best receivers in 2022. Like that was a weird year that we made the playoffs. It was just like
Yeah,
Richie James and Darius Slayton.
Hodgins would have been like the.
Yeah,
I think Isaiah Hodgins had like a 1,000-yard season had he played week one the entire way. I think he had like 500 yards in like 6 games. He's like,
yeah,
okay, dude.
he was on pace for 1,000 plus. If we got him at the start of the year, but hey, he was great, and he's still on the team, but just not as involved as he is on the practice squad.
Oh, yeah.
But you mentioned Robinson. We'll get back to Neighbors in just a bit, but back to Robinson. About Robinson. Yeah, you mentioned 7 catches, 61 yards. He's what 5'9", 5'10". He's mainly a slot guy, but Daniel Jones trusts him underneath short plays because he's a fast guy.
He's at
Like
speed.
yeah, and like it's good to have that security blanket if no one's open downfield. If Neighbors is double covered, at least if Neighbors is double covered, someone's open. Someone else is open.
Wandale's open.
Wandale's
That's
open.
gonna be even better because all right, all the attention can go on Neighbors now. Like we have to stop Neighbors. Hey, guess what? Wandale is playing not as good as Neighbors, but he's playing pretty decently, and he's someone that can be a game wrecker when he gets because shock you. Say Wandale gets hit with like a 5-yard screen pass, and he takes that for an 80-yard touchdown, just turns the Jets on and go. That wouldn't surprise me at all. I'd be like, yeah, that's the guy we drafted out of Kentucky. That's what our plan was for him to do. And I don't think teams are recognizing that yet with him because all the focus is on Malik Nabers, which good for us. We can develop Wandale's game a little bit more. And if Malik's just going to continue to dominate when the game plan's about him, receiving this passing game for the Giants can become a legit threat. And I know it's hard to do in like a cold weather state with the weather and everything, but it's still showing signs of, hey, this can be look more like a modern day offense, which I think all Giants fans are starved for after watching Jason Garrett just, run the 40s out there for a while.
And we've seen glimpses of what Wandale can do ever since his rookie year. We saw that first year against Detroit before he went down with that ACL. We saw what he did against the Packers last year when he was, running like jet sweeps and catching the football. Daniel Jones can trust, or Daniel Jones plus Tommy DeVito in that Packers game, but he can be a trusted receiver, and it's. I hope we don't see him on the field again because that means Jones is playing well. But we love DeVito, of course. But Wandale's great. Like he is a phenomenal guy. I do hope he continues this level of play because if he is, this Giants offense, like you mentioned, is going to be set at receiver with those two and Neighbors and Robinson. It's just everyone else that is a question mark, which we'll get to in a bit. But
then you don't need to rely on like Slayton and Hyatt developing. It's just like, all right, let's go get a vet to play the outside.
Oh,
Let's get like a Jacoby Myers, which I don't know what his contract looks like, but like a receiver of that where, okay, he might pop off some games, but like he's just going to be like, all right, 4 or 5 catches, maybe a touchdown, and 60, 40 yards. So 40 to 60 yards, somewhere between there.
It's weird how the Giants have their wide receiver 1 and their slot receivers set.
Yeah.
But that wide receiver 2, you would think like if you have your slot position and your wide receiver in one position set, you would think your wide receiver 2 position is like set as well. But like it's just between 2 guys, and it's just like okay.
Like it's like I don't think either one of these guys is really good enough to be a wide receiver 2. Like Slayton's okay, but he's a wide receiver 4. It's just not on the field for some reason.
Do you think? Okay, so here's the thing. I know think the video dropped last week, but when the whole Jalen Hyatt, how he was requesting to be traded, and he came out saying that that wasn't true, that the New York media was just
Yeah.
making up stuff. Look, I love Hyatt, and I know he loves being here, but there has to be some sort of issue that occurred,
Gotta be.
or it's been 3 weeks, and remember week one when we talked about Hyatt and how Brian Dable was like, yeah, we have a certain place for Hyatt and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Once again, dude, in week three, just
We
10
saw one.
snaps. Yeah, he 10 snaps overall. He's not on the field. And Darius Slayton, on the other hand, 58 snaps. So something's
Maybe
up.
it's like quarterback. Like, because I've always said Darius Slayton is like a safety blanket for Jones. Like,
Hmm.
maybe he plays into that where Jones just doesn't have that connection with Hyatt as he does with Slayton, which makes the team like, all right, we want to get Jones as comfortable as possible out there. Throw Slayton out there because he's just better with him.
Hmm. Well, I mean, that's not a bad reason. Like, it makes sense if that's the
Yeah.
case. We saw Hyatt in games with DeVito where DeVito was finding him down the field, and Hyatt was converting catches and making solid plays. But there's never been so far with Jones under center where him and Hyatt have that connection, and maybe
Hmm.
the chemistry needs to continue to be worked on. I don't think there's any. I mean, I give it like a 98% chance that there's no rift between Dable and Hyatt as well as Jones
No.
and Hyatt. It's just the game plan, and you mentioned
Yeah.
yeah, the chemistry between Jones and Slayton, that is why Hyatt's not getting on the field. But
It's not a personal like it's not
yeah.
like like we've heard in the past like, oh, this player hates this player, this guy hates it's not that. It's just like, all right, they like each other. It's just like something just isn't clicking when they're on the field, and Dable's just trying to put the best guys out there to win. Slayton gives the Giants a better chance to win than Hyatt does due to him and Jones having a chemistry that Jones and Hyatt just haven't, for whatever reason, whether it's play style, whether it's, Hyatt's more of a deep threat and Daniel Jones is kind of a check down guy at this point in his career. It's something, it could literally be something as stupid as that. But it's, hey, Slayton fits that role better. We want Slayton out there.
Mhm. And this was a conversation that was talked about even in the offseason, heading into preseason. I was like, who was going to emerge as that wide receiver number two? Was it going to be Slayton, or was it going to be Hyatt? And I love Hyatt. You love Hyatt. I love Hyatt. We all love Jalen Hyatt. He's a great character. He's a great teammate. But it does, I'd be lying if I said it didn't hurt to not see him on the field,
Oh,
because
yeah.
he can create
At this
plays.
point, I almost want to trade him because, like, I just feel like it's not going to work out here. So, like, the value, you still got some value. What if you just flip him for something else? Like, hey, we got a weakness at this position. You have weakness at receiver. We'll give you underperforming Hyatt. You give us X. So, like, you're just kind of flipping underperforming guys. Like, we see like that in the MLB and NBA and NHL all the time, where it's just like trading guys who may not be working here, but still young enough, a change of scene might help them. Or at the very least, we're getting someone that could pop off at a position of need.
I know you said you would trade Hyatt, but if you had to choose between him and Slayton, would you still go Hyatt?
I mean, I would rather trade Slayton because I really like Hyatt. I think he'd be a deep threat in this offense. I think he'd be really a solid wide receiver number two. But at this point in time, if what I'm saying is true, that him and Jones just can't get on the same page, I might have to trade him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that because like I want Jones to be the starter. No, I think Jones is done after this year. I'm just saying what puts the Giants in 2024 in the best chance to win. 2024 is going to have Daniel Jones, so you have to cater the offense to him.
Mm-hmm. Keep it simplified as much as possible, and if that means even staying on the field, then it is what it is.
Now in
Um,
2025, it's if it's Shedeur Sanders, is it Carson Beck, is it Jason Darts, Cam Ward? If one of those guys can throw the ball downfield and has a relationship with Hyatt, then it's okay. Slayton needs to go because now he doesn't have a relationship with Slayton. But at this point in time, it's probably Hyatt over Slayton.
mhm. Um, so yeah, we'll see what happens on Thursday. It's more than likely that Hyatt will continue to take a backseat to Darius Slayton, but hopefully we'll see what Hyatt can do if he's on the field against Dallas on Thursday. But back to Malik Nabers real quick, Brian. Yeah, I'm saying it again. This guy's absolutely special, and the Giants treat him that way. It was clear from the jump that they were gonna cater this offense to him. There's been times where Neighbors is interviewing and he's telling reporters like, "Hey, yeah, Brian Dable is asking what plays I want. Daniel Jones is asking or telling me, asking him what makes what's comfortable for me to, what plays that he's asking what plays he wants. Both Dable and Jones is what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say. And that's special treatment off the bat. And plus, he's getting targeted a lot. Like this guy he's being trusted very early, and he's responding so well. Remember that drop, of course, against Washington. He took it hard on himself, and he was,
Yeah.
that's kind of an understatement because he really took it personally. Like he was
That's a
so
winner, though.
unhappy. Yeah, that's a winner mentality. He was so unhappy.
Exactly.
And he was like, "Yeah, I let the veterans down because they trust me to make big plays." But these veterans, they said, "Hey, look," especially Dexter Lawrence, who said, "Quote, you didn't let anyone down. It's going to happen, and we're pros. We're going to make some plays and miss some plays. All the greats do, but it's all about responding, and that's what the greats do." And Neighbors, my goodness, responded in a big way. Anquan Bolden, we all know Anquan Bolden from his days in Arizona. So his rookie season, Bolden did. He had 23 receptions in his first 3 games. That was the second most ever by a pass catcher in their first 3 games. Malik Nabers through 3 games, 23 receptions as well. So he's tied the rookie record. In first place with 30 catches in his first 3 games is Puka Nacua from last year. So
he's on pace to break that. Now we'll see if it can continue throughout the year. Like, will defenses change when they have more film on him? We'll see. But I would say at this moment in time, Puka's record is in danger of being shattered.
Yeah, and why not? Why not Neighbors? Seriously,
Yeah.
he is just an incredible player. He's someone that Jones he can trust, and he's never had this type of receiver in his life. Not
No.
at Duke, not in high school, ever. And Neighbors is such a blessing. He is such a mature guy. He's fun to
Yeah.
watch. He can make plays. He's saving this offense and Jones's career right before our eyes. And honestly, if we've said it
He's
before,
right. He's like the bat signal. Like, hey, hope is here. It's coming. Let us build a team.
Yeah, and just for this year, because we know Jones is gone, unless he continues to play well like he's been. I know this offense it's looking a bit more simplified, and we understand that Jones tends to still look for his first read a lot, but at the same time, Jones is playing well, and if he continues to play this way, as much as we hate to say it, he may play himself. I'm just saying, I'm not saying he will, but he possibly, if he continues to play well, play himself into being the starter once again in 2025. But hey, I'm going too fast. The point is that Neighbors, who is 21 years old right now, 56 days to be exact, is the youngest player in NFL history with two touchdown catches in a game. He beat Mike Evans, who was 21 years old and 73 days that did it in 2014. So
Telling you right now, I would sign up for Malik Nabers to have a Mike Evans career. I would sign right now for that.
Yeah.
10 years of 1,000 yards plus. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And for those of you,
he get the spotlight that the rest do. Don't care. He can be underappreciated and put up monster numbers for me. Awesome.
And for those of you who said that, oh, the Giants should have drafted a quarterback. Hey, shut the F up. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Shut up. Oh yeah,
I'm telling you, no quarterback would be as good in this system as Neighbors is right now. Because take out Neighbors. How good is Daniel Jones? Wandale's having a decent season, but like Wandale's your wide receiver 1? Like they probably would have drafted a receiver or maybe assigned a veteran at some point. Like maybe they're more aggressive going after a T. Higgins, or maybe they're drafting a guy like Brian Thomas Jr. or Keon Coleman they're trading up for. We don't know. But quarterback on this team, it's not the same at all.
Without Neighbors, Wandale's not putting up numbers. This whole offense would just struggle completely. But Thank God we don't have to worry about that because
And what quarterback was available that's currently playing better than Daniel Jones?
none.
Yeah.
Knicks barely won, not because of him on Sunday against
Yeah.
Tampa. We'll
Knicks
break
had
down.
2 horrific starts and 1 decent start. Penix hasn't seen the field. McCarthy tore his ACL, so that's kind
Mm,
of, out the window.
yeah,
Caleb, I know we didn't have a shot at Caleb, but he's been up and down. Nate May hasn't seen the field. The only guy we've seen is Jaden Daniels. And
and
we have
there's
a shot at
no,
Daniels, so it doesn't matter.
yeah, no way we're gonna get Daniels whatsoever. And same thing with Drake May. So blessing to have Neighbors on
So
the team.
listen, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot there's other players on the offense. Sorry. After a rough week one, Daniel Jones, like we mentioned, has played well over the past 2 games. Against a tough defense in the Browns, he went 24-34, 236 yards, 2 touchdowns. Did have an interception, but he was saved by that roughing the passer call.
Yeah.
So we'll let it slide. But
Well, it's like this time, but he's being the perfect game manager right now. He's not. I think every Giants fan is watching like Mahomes and Herbert and Allen. Like, oh, we want you to do that. No, 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 no. That's not Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is going to be if he let's just say case scenario everything works out for Jones. He's not going to be much better than what you're seeing Kirk Cousins, which is fine. It's fine. But like we have to temper our expectations a little bit. Like, all right, even at his best, Jones is not going to be a top 10 quarterback in this league. He arguably could be, but like he's going to be top 15, more likely top 20.
And because he was drafted at 6 overall, it's like, oh yeah, he needs to play at a top 15, top 10, top 15 level. Yeah, but maybe sometimes the best thing is to just keep it simplified. And he's pretty good when things are simplified, like we saw on Sunday. We saw it before in 2022 under
Mm-hmm.
Dable's first year as head coach. When things were
Yeah,
simplified, things worked out, and maybe that's going to be the
yeah.
key. Um,
But the issue with relying on simplify, it's like it's so easy to figure out. And if you're a team
mhm.
like the Eagles, which figured out everything, you're going to destroy us, like the Eagles in the divisional round that game.
Eagles, Cowboys, those two teams have been a thorn in Jones's side ever since he entered the league.
Yeah.
I, so as good, like you just mentioned, that things are simplified and simple one read route or one read plays and stuff like that. It's not the always best solution, but
It's not it's a very good short-term plan, but like this can't be your long-term solution.
mhm.
It's kind of like I'm trying to think. It's kind of like putting tape on a pipe. It's like, all right, yeah, it's fixed for right now, but eventually you have to fix actually fix it.
Like eventually, like
It
you
was
have to
kick the
address it.
can down the road. Like eventually we need a new pipe here, guys.
Mhm. And obviously, this Giants team is still 1-2. They still are projected to be a top 10 pick once again in next year's draft. However, if Jones continues to play like this game manager role, this team will likely be drafting in the middle part of the first round, and that's likely when
Yeah,
all the QBs are up. Well, it depends. We'll see what happens,
this
but
I could see. Let's say Wandale and Malik play good. The line is what it should be. This where I could see Joe Shane getting more aggressive and trading up for a quarterback because he can see, okay, I'm assembling a core now. There's a good team in place where I can take a risk on a quarterback and I'm not bringing him into a dire situation. There
mhm,
is a supporting cast around him that's going to help him.
mhm.
So maybe it sucks to give up the extra first round pick, but maybe we can afford it with the talent we have on the roster right now. But that's also, of course, hindsight's 2020. How the rest of this year plays out.
Because you go from Shedeur Sanders and Carson back to possibly Jackson Dart, Quinn Ewers territory if the
And those
Giants
could
are
be
drafting the
those
middle
could be
rounds.
great quarterbacks in this league. But I would say it's safe to assume right now that Quinn Ewers and the kid from Ole Miss probably need some time on the bench before. Like I would feel confident throwing Carson back out there. Door kind of doesn't scare me from a talent perspective, but more of mentality and off the field stuff is kind of where I get scared for him. So he might need time on the bench to like mature and kind of learn New York. But if he had to start week 1, I think from a talent perspective, he'd be fine.
Mhm. We didn't mention Cam Ward, who likely will go number 1 if everything goes
Yeah.
correctly. Because Cam Ward is
Mhm.
just
Right into you.
that dude is phenomenal. I tell you, Mr. Ward is very, very good. But we'll see. But so far in his past 2 games, at least after week 1, that just ruined a lot of our Sundays. Jones has played well these past couple of games, and that this Cleveland game this past Sunday just shows that hey, find Malik, find Wandale, and everything is gonna be all right.
Yep.
Devin Singletary, by the way, for those of you who had him on your fantasy team and saw him go down at the 1, screw you, screw you.
You see
Because
ESPN bets what they did? ESPN bets accused the Giants of point shaving for doing that. So they said they had the under. I'm like, are you stupid? I'm like, he's making the football play. Like, that's the most football play you can make. I've seen Saquon Barkley do that. I've seen thousands of NFL running backs do that, where they slide at the goal line to keep the clock going and not give the other team the ball back.
yeah,
That's all he was doing. He was making the football play.
yeah. These players don't care about your bets, about your fantasy team, none of that. Like they just want to win games. And like maybe what if Singletary
Oh
scored?
my God,
What if some
ESPN.
miracle? Yeah, like what if some miracle happened by Cleveland? Like they got the ball back, they scored one play, got the onside kick, recovered it, and scored again. Like you just never know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And even Wandale was telling them, go down. And Sam was like,
Everyone
no,
was screaming. I bet you Daboll was screaming "Go down" when he had wide open field in front of him. I bet you when he was at the 10-yard line, Daboll was red in the face, saying, "Get the F down."
But I mean, look, overall for Singletary, if he did score that touchdown, it would have been great. But overall, his performance on the day was great once again. 16 carries, 65 yards, and a touchdown. He did fumble again, and that's been an issue these past couple of games is fumbles and fumbles. It's just like statistically he's playing one of the best backs in the NFL. It's just the fumbles, dude. I'm just like, dude,
Yeah.
chill.
Just get that straightened out and you're good.
Please just hold on to the dang ball. I'm trying to find the
hang on to the Duke.
literally like it's not that hard one though. I mean Singletary, because what he's first in elusive rating. Never heard that one before, but that's his elusive rating is 100.
Something one of those fake baseball stats.
Yeah,
like his hard hit percentage is X. Like, okay, that's more just luck, guys. He hits the ball really hard.
It's like, how do you come up with that?
How do you control how hard you hit the ball? Like, there's so many factors involved in how hard the ball comes off the bat. Like it's a really cool stat. Like, oh my God, that ball came out 110 miles an hour. But like, I'm not going to hold it against Pete Alonso. Like, well, he only hit the ball, 98%, and this other first baseman was 100, so we're going with him. Like, look at the stats, guys. Look at the actual stats. Don't look at these cool stats.
Like what defines a hard hit baseball? Like, is it velocity? Who knows? Like,
to get out of the ball. I think it's velocity, like how fast the ball goes is a quote unquote hard hit. Like, is that really how we measure hard hits? Like, what if it was just really windy that day?
Yeah.
Got picked up in a jet stream and just took off. That's not a hard hit ball. That's just a ball that got lucky.
Yeah, so whatever these fake stats are, it is what it is. But yeah, elusive rating, he's first with 161.8. He has 17 missed tackles, which is second most in the league. Yards after contact, 165, tied for seventh. 10-yard runs, 6 of them. 15-plus yard runs, 3 of them, which are tied for 9th and 7th, respectively. Singletary, I love you, man. You're playing well. Like, you're sort of playing better than... That's a reach because Saquon Barkley just went off against the damn Saints. But you're playing as well
you're
as
playing
Saquon.
At a good level to play Saquon Barkley. You're making it very easy to miss Saquon Barkley.
Because we got him at the price we got him for.
Exactly.
Yep. Well. So, yeah, he was great. Shout out to him. Rondell Robinson, we talked about it earlier. He played well. Theo Johnson got his first catch in the NFL for 13 yards, but that was the only catch he had. And then Hyatt. Yeah, babies. We'll get there. We'll get there with Johnson.
We'll get you there. It's week 3. Come on, guys. You got a long season ahead of us. More of these.
Hyatt, we talked about it earlier as well, and then Slayton had that thumb injury, so that's a bit concerning. But we'll see what happens there. All line wise, Pro Football Focus had some harsh grades on them. Andrew Thomas did not play well. What I mean, a 14.7 pass blocking grade. Like I mentioned, they were pretty harsh, and Pro Football Focus isn't the Bible, but um, to me,
Oh
they
my God! Oh,
yeah, 2 sacks allowed. Come on, that's pretty good. So overall, heck of a game. No field goals. Love to see it. Uh,
ending drives and touchdowns. Awesome. That's
that's
what
that's
that's
what
what
we
we
like.
need.
Exactly. Put up touchdowns, baby. You don't like field goals. Um, but yeah. Overall, I know that was a long one. We covered like what 50 minutes of this whole Giants game, but they played such a great job. It was worth.
They
Us,
won,
us.
guys. We don't. We might not win again this season. This might be our only time to be happy on this podcast about the New York
Yeah.
Football Giants. We're gonna savor it.
Exactly. We gotta be positive, and we love it. We love to see our guys win, and hopefully the vibes are good once again this Thursday. And we'll go ahead and dive into this Dallas preview right now before we get to our week 3 takeaways, I guess. Dallas is 1-2 as well to start the year. Dak Prescott hasn't looked as great, but he does have 851 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. CD Lamb is still leading the way receiving wise with 13 to 18 and a touchdown so far this season. Jalen Tolbert is the wide receiver number 2, it seems like. Eric Kendricks is playing phenomenal on defense. He was a free agent acquisition from Minnesota. And yeah, he leads the team with 29 tackles, 2 sacks. Michael Parsons still doing his thing, sort of not doing much of an impact in terms of pass rush, but that might change because he always plays well against his Giants team. Here's the thing, though, that is concerning for me with Dallas, and that's the rushing attack for Dallas. At 73.7 rushing yards per game, that is the third worst in the NFL. Now, are we surprised? No, because
Wait,
when
you telling me the washed body of Ezekiel Elliott isn't lighting the league up like he did in 2014?
oh, don't forget Dalvin Cook.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dalvin. I'm sorry. The two washed veterans aren't as good as they were 5 years ago. Why is that? Well, Jerry Jones, there's this thing called aging. Like, I know you're rich and like aging doesn't apply the same to you like it does to everybody else, but it kind of sucks.
What's crazy is those two guys we just mentioned aren't their leading rushers on the Dallas team. It's Rico Dowdle. But that's saying so much because he only has 23 carries for 88 yards through 3 games. When that's your leading rusher through 3 games, something's going wrong. And that Dallas rushing attack is not good at all. However, it's not just the rushing offense that's concerning. The defense as a whole does not look good. Now, look, they've played the Saints and the Ravens this past couple games, so those offenses are pretty good.
I don't know. The Saints look pretty.
Yeah,
They came back down to earth pretty hard on
yeah,
Sunday. Like,
uh-huh.
it's a lot worse.
So it seems like because what we saw from the Saints this past weekend, it's more like the Dallas defense isn't that good whatsoever. So far this season through 3 games.
Missing somebody. Dan Quinn.
That's right. Washington.
He's in Washington now. So I think that's like
Oh.
we talked about with Shane Bowen kind of figuring out the defense. Dallas is still going through that right now. Where they're still trying to put all the pieces in place right now, and they're missing. Because let's be honest, Dan Quinn was probably the best DC in the league for the past 3 years. I would say he's definitely top 5, maybe best coordinator in general. He was really good for that Dallas team, and to remove a guy who is that good. And we saw it on the broadcast last night. The players in Washington love him. Players in Dallas love him. To have that kind of guy taken out, it's going to ruffle some feathers, and not everything's going to be like it was. There's going to be an adjustment period. So, if we're being honest, the Giants are probably catching Dallas at the best time.
Best time. This early in the season, short week, coming off a performance against Baltimore, Dallas did where they couldn't stop him. Yes, Baltimore almost blew it, but
that's more on Baltimore. That's
defense.
more a story of what happened to Baltimore this season than the Dallas Cowboys.
So overall, Dallas has allowed the fifth most yards in average per game with 372.7. They allowed 185.7 rushing yards per game because they've been torn up by Kamara and Derrick Henry these past couple weeks. And then,
And Lamar at 87 on them this week too.
mhm, so
So could we see a Jones potential?
that's what I'm. Yeah.
It was like I think we're gonna use Singletary a lot. I think it's gonna be a breakout game for Singletary, but like, could we maybe see Dable testing out that Daniel Jones, repaired ACL? Like, hey, let's see if the speed's still there, kid.
Mm-hmm.
Let's run.
It's
Let's run
been
some.
yeah.
Let's get weird. Let's run this thing like a college offense. Let's run some QB raps and stuff.
It's been 3 games of him playing on this ACL like fully. So
it's ready to go. It's been a month of play, and you had some time in the preseason. You had training camp. Like, let's see it. Let's see if the quote unquote dual threat is still there.
Yeah, why not? But yeah, I mean, if Derrick Henry has gone off rushing wise, if Kamara can go off, I expect not just Jones to make an impact in the rushing game, but also Devin Singletary. I mean, he's played well these past couple weeks, like we just said, and if he continues to play this level and hold on to the football, I think this rushing attack for the Giants team will play well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the game plan, right? I feel like that's to sum up the game plan.
Rushing and then hitting Malik when, rush 2 yards and where's Malik?
Yep.
It's going to be the plan.
If Denzel Ward couldn't handle him, what makes you think Trayvon Diggs, Deron Bland?
Oh, you mean the most overrated corner in the NFL and Trayvon Diggs? Like, he's good, but is he really worth that contract? Like, I can pick out probably every single game last year, probably 3 plays where he was burnt.
Yeah. He thrives off just poor decision making. Trayvon Diggs.
Yeah. And he's a very big, interception guy. Like, he's a very big guy that puts the numbers up. But if, he's a really good stat getter, but if you actually watch him game in and game out, it's like, this guy isn't actually as good as the numbers suggest he is.
Boomer bust type thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, this kid's going to either have 2 interceptions and be locked down, or he's going to give up 3 long bombs. Like, there's no in between.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, injury report wise, we'll cover it again on Thursday. But as of right now, as Brian mentioned earlier, this Giants team, Phillips calf, Adoree calf, Slayton with a thumb injury. Jackson and Phillips did not practice on Monday. However, the injury report that came out from the Giants website has a note that this was a walkthrough, as all practices are on a short week, of course. So participation is projection. Same thing with Dallas. They had a walkthrough on Monday. Marquise Bell, safety, had an ankle injury. He did not practice. Trayvon Diggs practiced fully on Monday, so he's fine. CeeDee Lamb, ankle injury, but he practiced fully. DeMarcus Lawrence was limited with that shoulder injury on Monday as well. But we will look into this on Thursday and get the final.
Yeah, we should have an idea on Thursday who's in, who's out.
Yeah, but nothing too concerning as of right now, it seems like, for this Giants team.
No, the only thing I'll be concerned about is Phillips. He got taken out so early, and God, what is this? He's playing so well. I don't want to lose him. But I'm also not worried long term because I know, hey, injury reports are kind of inflated this week with the game being Thursday.
Yeah, so.
But it would be an injury report if we were playing Sunday. There'd be no injury report right now. No. We get the injury report Wednesday.
But short week, gotta get things rolling, I guess, per se. All right, week 3. Let's keep it simple. What did you like from week 3? What game stood out to you?
I mean, I hate to say it, but I think the Commanders are going to win the NFC East. I mean, did you see that they haven't punted in 2 games? That offense right now is just, they have so much confidence in Jaden Daniels. He's playing so well right now. He's proven why he was the 2nd overall pick in this draft. He's proven that why he was the Heisman winner last year at LSU. He has just completely revitalized this Washington team, almost like the second coming of RG3. And I hope it turns out differently than RG3's career. But why would you bet against the Commanders right now? They might be the hottest team in football.
91%. That was Daniel's completion percentage last night.
That's unheard of.
And you know what? You think it was checkdowns?
No. No, he had a
No,
few long bombs too.
he
He had
was
that one
slinging it.
for halftime. He had that one. It was like they were on the opposite end of the field and they were in the red zone because of his throw.
254 yards, man. Two
Yeah.
tutties. I mean, this
And
guy's
he's trusted. That coaching staff trusts him. He's like, let's go for it. And they're like, all right,
yeah, 11 yards
for a young
per
quarterback.
pass.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's beats a lot. And the coach got trust in me. I'm going out there. You play with so much less of a, so much calmer. Like, all right, coach, trust me. Let's get this done, guys.
and he's doing it with the receiving core that outside of Terry McLaurin isn't that great. Like they traded Jahan Dotson, you would think like, oh my god, this offense is gonna get worse. No, he's.
If anything.
But that's the thing. That is what a top 5, especially second overall quarterback is supposed to do with limited, quote unquote, limited resources,
Mm-hmm.
make plays. And he's done an outstanding job. Like,
Yeah.
if it wasn't for Malik and the Giants were much worse, we would, and having Jaden Daniels would be a home run. Like, he would be just as
Yeah.
great as a pick as Malik Nabers if, the Giants had the
If the
opportunity
Giants
to
can
get
trip
him.
the second, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff happened.
Yeah, but I mean, Daniels he can do it with his arm. He did it with his legs. He led the team in rushing yesterday with 39 yards, which is insane much, but he did score a touchdown on the ground. And yeah, dude, just a 93.0 QBR rating. I think that was the best in the league this past week. He's just someone that if he continues to play well, and he's only going to get better, this NFC East is going to be very, very tough for years to come. Like, it's just unbelievable how a guy like we just mentioned, with limited resources around him, can just play so well.
Yeah.
If he does this,
It's on
throughout,
coaching too.
yeah,
It's him and Cliff Kingsbury. Like, welcome back to the NFL, kid.
yeah. Kingsbury, he's more fit as a coordinator. Like, if he stays in this role, just do not take any head coaching job. We saw how that worked out. Not all coaches. We all know this. Not all coaches are built to be head coaches. Some belong as coordinators, and that is not the end of the world. That's why in NCAA football 25, you're given options. You don't have to be the head. You can be the coordinator and focus, because you don't have to. You don't always got to be the top guy in the coaching staff. Like, maybe your best fit is just focusing on one unit, and that's what Kingsbury is good at. So, yeah, Washington 2-1 in the year. They literally, the punter is just, he should be like
The
grabbing.
the punter's eating hot dogs on the bench.
Yeah, eating
beer?
hot
Like,
dogs, chatting it up.
I'm doing the same thing that guy's doing right now. Can I have a beer?
It's like the equivalent of a baseball player, like for example, like Bryce Harper today. I assume the Phillies aren't going to be playing their starters, but like equivalent of Harper eating sunflower seeds the whole game, just sitting down, just watching the game. Like, that was what the punter was doing, was just chilling on the bench, walking around, maybe keeping himself ready just in case. But he was never needed. Like, this Washington team is converting, they're scoring, and that is something that we want to. That is great to see from this Commanders team. But I assume this game wasn't all about the Commanders. I assume you have your concerns about Cincinnati, correct?
Yeah, no, I'm really concerned about this Bengals team because, like, we saw week one. Oh god, that's a bad loss to the Patriots. But like, I think there's a thought, and it got amplified last week when they almost beat the Chiefs. That, hey, this team's okay. They just need to straighten a few things out, but they're fine.
Mm-hmm.
They're 3-0, and they're burying themselves. What might be one of the tougher divisions in football, because I know the Ravens had their struggles, but they're 2-1, right? They're 1-2, but they very easily could be 3-0. Had a few things gone differently. The Steelers have an amazing defense, and the offense is just okay enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really good Bengals team, but they're already in a hole too deep to climb out of to make a realistic playoff shot. With everything else in the AFC around them. Like, the Bills and Jets are probably locks right now. The Ravens are probably going to make it. In the South, it's probably the Texans, maybe the Colts will be floating around there. In the AFC West, it's the Chiefs. It's the Chiefs and Chargers are probably the two. So you're running out of spots here, and being down low already, you've got a lot of ground to make up, and the season it's almost October, guys. It's almost time where we know the contenders and the pretenders.
Mm-hmm. And Joe Burrow talked about in his press conference last night, saying, "Look, they feel confident in their chances to still make the postseason. It's 0-3, and they can easily bounce back like 3 weeks from now and be 3-3. However, it is kind of tough to see because this team is a talented team. They have Joe Burrow, they have Jamar Chase, and the running game is a bit of concern because Zach Moss isn't the best running back in the world. And I think that was my concern from the beginning was that you lose a guy like Joe Mixon that kind of takes a toll on that offense because he was a solid running back, and we see it in Houston.
Yeah.
He's doing a pretty good job." So Zach Moss is a downgrade and it is showing for the Cincinnati team. Yeah. So we'll see what happens there.
Oh yeah. Quick little stat here. Since 1990, 162 teams have started the season 0-3. 4 of them made the postseason with only one of them winning the division. That's 2.5% of teams to start 0-3 have made the playoffs. So there's a 98.5% chance. I think the 97.5% chance that you're going to be sitting on your couch in January.
Eesh. All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on Cincinnati throughout the season. Because it's Joey Burr. Like he's still, when healthy, one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Still great.
It's just the team around him. We shall see. I saw a tweet yesterday. Shout out to James at Fuddy Wop. Don't know why that username is what it is. Says, quote, "Oh, look at me. I'm Josh Allen. I have a rocket arm. I run over the best athletes in the world. I'm Haley Steinfeld. I'm the king of my city. F you." And I understand his pain because Haley Steinfeld is a very attractive woman.
God, is anyone having a better month than Josh Allen right now?
That's what I'm saying.
How did you put it like that? Man, the Bills are like the Super Bowl favorites right now. He's dating a supermodel who's smoking hot,
and she can sing.
Probably one of the favorites to win MVP.
Yeah, and he did it on Monday. Like he showed why he is the MVP. 4 touchdowns.
Doug Peterson's tenure in Jacksonville on Monday. How do you go into next week with nothing changing for the Jaguars?
His job flashed before his eyes. Like he saw what his team did against Buffalo and was like, "Fudge."
He's like, I'm getting fired, aren't I? Like, might not be today, might not be tomorrow. It's coming.
He's like putting a timer on his phone.
It's down the pike.
He's putting a timer on his phone. It's like, let's see how long I can last until.
Yeah, it's all right. I can see the Grim Reaper. He's not here yet, but he's coming.
Like,
he's there.
I see him from afar. Like I see Slender Man. He's walking slowly. But I see him, and it's like I'm dead.
Making progress, but it's taking him a little bit.
I wanted to bring it up because is this more on Buffalo's offense is starting to come together? Because we saw, obviously Stephon Diggs is gone, and this Buffalo offense is still trying to figure things out. But does this game say more about Josh Allen and his MVP performance, or does it say more about Jacksonville, just that they are one of the worst teams in the NFL? It's just. Yeah.
Both, but I think it falls way more on Buffalo because, Trevor Lawrence, 21 for 38, 178, a touchdown, interception. Not great, but also, not horrific at the same time. But, Josh Allen, 4 touchdowns, 263 passing yards on 23 attempts, a 98.3 QBR. Only 7 incompletions all night. And then at the same time, you have him running for 44 yards. James Cook, only 39 yards, but a touchdown. He got involved in the passing game. This is more about how dynamic this Bills offense is now. They're not forced to kind of get Stephon Diggs the ball. They can spread it out and let Josh Allen truly show how good of a quarterback he is. Truly remind people that, hey, I am a dual threat. I might not look like it, but I can still run the ball. Because he was the leading rusher last night for the Bills.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he can do it all. And when you can do it all, you're up for the MVP conversation. And that's what he is. He's a great player. And if he could just play at this level, MVP is going to be his. at the end of the season. Like I don't see anyone else taking
The
over from him.
test now, and they said this on the broadcast Monday night. I
Mm-hmm.
think the Bills have won the most games in the past 3 years without a Super Bowl appearance. Like, I think the Chiefs have obviously won the most, but they have 3 Super Bowls. I think it's them. I think it's the Chiefs 1 and the Bills 2. So, like, I don't care what they're doing. It has to end Lombardi at the end of this year to really, like, MVP's nice, Josh Allen, but no one cares. It's you at least get there. You can't keep having these depressing losses in the divisional and conference round. It has to be we're in the Super Bowl.
Based off what you're seeing from this team, Brian, and considering that Allen is an MVP candidate, I don't want to sound as make it vague and say can this team make the Super Bowl, but it's more like how confident are you that they can make the Super Bowl this year?
I mean, out of 10, I would probably go a 6.
Okay.
Because like they can't beat Kansas City. Like we've seen them struggle against Cincinnati in the playoffs, which who knows if Cincinnati's going to get there. But like they were a really good team in the AFC East for a while. Like how's the team going to stack up against Baltimore? Like there's still a lot of unproven. The Bills kind of remind me of like the Andrew Luck Colts in the very beginning, where they were a really good team, but just could never get over that Patriots hump or that, the team in front just being a little better. Or the Bills going to be a similar story where they're really good, they just can't get over the Chiefs.
But this is, I think, to answer that question, if you don't mind, and if I could mention the Kansas City game as well before I want to get your other takeaways from you. They can beat the Chiefs. The Bills can beat the Chiefs.
I do too. I think this is the weakest Chiefs team we see in a while.
And the reason why I say that is because as we head towards that Chiefs-Falcons game, look, this Chiefs team, as much, I don't want to sound like a hater, but I'm going to. They should be 1-2. That was a BS call against Cincinnati. I don't care what anyone says. And
they could be 1-2 because if Isaiah Likely gets that foot down, Baltimore wins that game.
That is true. So technically they could be 0-3. Because they shouldn't have won last week. They barely beat the Falcons by 5. Like,
a good team.
And look, like I said, I don't want to sound like a hater, and I don't want to sound like, oh, he doesn't. Look, I'm not saying that the Chiefs they suck. However, the game plan is simple. You take Kelsey out,
which every team has,
and you make Mahomes depend on the inexperience of Xavier Worthy because he's been quiet. What? Rashid Rice is your only other threat. No one's scared of Juju, who did score on Sunday, but no one's scared of Juju.
Juju's washed. All right, guys. Like, it's like saying like a hobbled Victor Cruz right now would be like getting reception. No, he wouldn't. He sucks.
Like teams have figured it out, and this offense isn't operating as smoothly. So that I think that's what I'm trying to say is this team isn't running as smoothly as we expect them to be. Yes, they're 3-0, but they're barely they're winning close games, and there's nothing wrong with that because the Giants made the playoffs by winning so many close games in 2022. But these are the Chiefs, and you have Patrick Mahomes.
Shows signs. Yeah.
Yes, there's signs that say, "Hey, this Chiefs team isn't unbeatable." Like there's a clear solution to it, and it may be as simple as double or triple covering Kelsey and making Mahomes find his other guys. However, this Chiefs offense operates well when Kelsey is the end of the football. He's not doing that.
What we've seen from the Chiefs, it's kind of like Rocky IV, where Drago starts to bleed, and it's like a big deal. Like, oh my God, the Russian's bleeding. Like, that's kind of what it is. Like, oh, it's not out yet, but they're bleeding. Like, something's wrong here. Something's not playing like it should.
I think through 3 games so far, Kelsey has like 47 yards receiving and
just been a nothing.
So is it as simple as it's just like teams are double or triple covering him, or do you feel like there's more to it? Not to drum up any conspiracies, but
I mean, it could be both. It could be something as simple as Kelsey's kind of getting a little older, so like, time is taking its course on him. Like he's played a lot of football. Like, is it finally starting to catch up with him? I mean, he's kind of lost a step, and he's lost like that, explosive ability he once had. Is it, the looming breakup with Taylor Swift in 4 days? It's gonna be that.
no, wait. Oh, it is 4 days.
Remember? The 28th. It's 4 days.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So be by your phone. 28th, because it could be an all-time Twitter day, or excuse me, X. Could be an all-timer.
I think it's just the tight end position as a whole is we're not seeing the usual suspects among the top receivers in terms of tight ends. I assume you know who the best tight end in the league statistically is right now, correct?
Who is it? I don't know at the top of my head. When you say, I'm like, oh my god, yeah.
Dallas Goedert.
Yep.
Yeah.
That sounds all right.
You know who's second?
Ferguson?
Brock Bowers.
Good for him.
The times are changing, my friend. But so top three.
Yeah, Brock Bowers is the changing of the guard.
Yeah.
Bowers is seen as the next great tight end. We're gonna see.
Goddard, Bowers, Mike Gesicki, and Isaiah Likely and Hunter Henry are your top 5 tight ends from a receiving standpoint.
Yeah,
that is nothing. That is not what anyone had on their bingo card per se.
No. Hunter Henry.
I know.
Hunter Henry, shout out him. Very underrated guy in New England. Like, he's a very solid red zone target.
Yeah.
For touchdowns, because he always just goes through.
He just somehow still manages to be in the league and just put up like underrated stats and just be
yeah. Maybe because he's on like New England and he's just like he was on the Chargers and then went to New England. Mm-hmm. Like it's just like, all right, you're on like the fading Chargers and now like the like fair that is the New England Patriots. Like, he's just never been like never had like that playoff run,
Mm-hmm.
They'd be like, oh my god, Hunter Henry is in the Super Bowl right now. It's Hunter Henry is nowhere close.
No, not his Patriots team. But yes, I wanted to bring up the Chiefs real quick because I do have concerns about Kelsey and stuff like that.
They're not as good as their 3-0 record says. Like we see 3-0 the Chiefs, like, oh, shocking, they're the best in football again. It's like, well, fast. They got bailed out a few times. They've gotten pretty lucky here.
Their mistakes and their struggles will bite them eventually. Just it's a ticking time bomb in terms of that.
Smooth it out or we'll bite them.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing about the Chiefs last year towards the beginning of the season. Like, oh, this isn't as good as they once were, and then they went on a run and won a Super Bowl. We'll have to see if can they make the same adjustments.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah. What other takeaways do you have from week 3 by any chance, Brian?
This isn't going to come as a surprise, but the Eagles are being bought out by their high-end talent. Like, let's be honest. They should have lost that game against the Saints, all right? Their coaching decision by Nick Sirianni is some of the worst I've ever seen. That's not even that's Philly fans will tell you that right now. Like, the reason they won on Sunday is because Saquon Barkley had that big touchdown run. Take that away and they lose.
I'm not arguing against that. I mean, this 2 straight weeks now that Sirianni has costed. Yeah, actually, you're not being a hater at all. Like in terms of you have your reasoning is because of Nick Sirianni. Like you just mentioned, Philly fans will agree with you that Sirianni his play calling has almost costed them 2 games. They costed them last week against the Falcons, and it almost costed them again against the Saints. If he didn't have Saquon,
we can make all the jokes we want about as Giants fans. If Saquon Barkley cost them the game because he dropped that pass.
Yeah.
If Nick Sirianni runs the ball twice, which he should have done, and killed as much time as possible, the Eagles win. Because the Falcons had the ball with 40 seconds left, deep in their own territory.
Mm-hmm.
Game over.
Yeah. But hey, they escaped. That's fine. Saints, though, they're back to where we expect.
The Saints we all knew and love.
Yeah, it's like, Derek Carr isn't back. Like this team is.
Derek Carr is back. No, he's not, guys. No, it's Derek Carr. Let's like all temper expectations on Tad here.
I'm looking at all the other games on the week 3 schedule. Yeah, Rams beat the Niners. Lions escape against
Brock
Arizona.
Purdy proved, even in the loss, Brock Purdy proved that he is good enough without the elite talent. Like Brock Powers Brock Purdy had a very good game on Sunday. He just, ran for the better game plan.
Brandon Ayuk.
Not good. Not good.
Eesh.
After a month of, taking up all our timelines and thoughts, he finally got his big contract and then has just sucked. Like I know John Lynch is somewhere like, this is why I didn't want to pay you. I knew this was coming.
Oh man. Hey, well, that's their fault. And then finally, yeah, that's kind of, Texans only 7 points against the Vikings.
Vikings defense, watch out.
Brian Flores has done an outstanding job. Outstanding.
He really has. He's gonna get some head coaching looks this offseason. He's gonna be like a very popular candidate because, like, sure, he wasn't the best in Miami, but like, I think the team was really fitted for him and his style. Like, Miami's an offensive team, and he had a defensive guy running it. It's like,
or just like Kingsbury, maybe his calling is just being a coordinator.
Yeah.
Who knows? How long until Will Levis is not a starter anymore?
If Malik Willis was still on that team, I would say this week, but I think they're gonna ride it out until the bye week. I really think they're gonna give Levis as much of an opportunity as possible until it's just really obvious he's just not the guy. It's pretty obvious right now, but they did spend like a second-round pick on him, so it's just like, we need something. As many opportunities you can.
I love you.
It's looking horrible for me right now.
I love you.
Half wins. They might not win a game.
Like I said, I love you. You're the best co-host I ever had. When you told me that Tennessee was going to be one of the, near the bottom of the AFC South, I thought, with all due respect, that was the worst thing you ever said on this podcast. Right. Now, this is why I'll never doubt you again. This is why I'll never doubt you again, my guy. You're one of my closest friends, brother, and yeah, I'm never doubting you again. Like,
never doubt. I was proven.
Holy crap! Look, 15.3 QBR. Like, Malik Willis made you look like crap. Like, Malik was like
revenge game. Good for him.
Yeah, and here's the thing: he said the right thing. So it was like, yeah, the Titans gave me a chance. Like, I'm thankful for them and all that stuff. Like, he said the right things, and then he went out and said. He basically, I know he didn't mean it, of course, but it was basically a soft FU to the Titans. With his
he went home that night and goes, "Go!" Like, he was like, after the game, just sitting by, like, probably driving home, being like, "That's what I was supposed to do. I showed Tennessee they got it. They picked the wrong guy.
You chose me over him. Fine."
Like, it's he says all the right things, but chip on your shoulder is a different story. That's why Brady was so good all those years. He had that chip on his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not comparing Malik Willis to Tom Brady. I'm just saying, when you have something to prove, you're going to go work harder for it. You're going to do more to get yourself over that hump.
Yeah, and he tore up a Titans defense that was supposed to be top 10. Good job, Nate. 73 yards rushing. Jeez, Malik. I'm obviously isn't going to come for Jordan Love's job, but if Love is hypothetically
trade candidate is what he is.
That's right. That's right. Maybe not this year because technically he could get traded again.
Oh yeah,
but that would suck.
It would suck, but that's just kind of like what it is sometimes. Like, you served your purpose. Packers are going to, when Love comes back, Malik Willis' stock is going to be at the highest it's ever been. It's like, sell high now. And thanks, Malik Willis. You did great. Have fun in LA.
If Jordan Love is not ready against Minnesota, I'm just saying it doesn't hurt to put Malik in just for one more week, just to make sure Love is okay.
Rush Jordan Love back now.
Yeah.
Jordan Love, you gave him the big contract, he won on the field. I understand all that. But how Malik has played, it's like, okay, Love, take your time. Willis is kind of riding the ship, steering the ship for us. Okay, he's keeping us afloat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Speaking of which, I know Brett Favre has done some weird stuff. Yeah, Parkinson's is what he has, and prayers to him.
Except for anybody though, like you don't want to see anybody suffer.
Yeah,
especially a disease like Parkinson's, which is just devastating.
Yeah, he's an NFL legend.
Yeah, he's a bad guy, but hey, he's the NFL legend. You can't tell the story of the NFL without talking about Brett Favre for a little bit. And I know he's got everything going on with the Mississippi stuff. He's probably going to go. Actually, I don't know if he's going to go to jail now with Parkinson's, but you'd be a terrible guy. I'm not wishing that on you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for those of you who are unfamiliar with Parkinson's, nervous system disorder that causes parts of the brain to deteriorate and affect movement. So, prayers to him. Hopefully,
Muhammad Ali had it.
Yeah,
a few other guys had it.
It's not pretty.
O.J. Fox had it young. He's had it like his entire life. Like O.J. Fox, I think was diagnosed with it like right after Back to the Future. Like sad.
Definitely something to monitor for sure. Hopefully he hopefully he can live as long as life as possible.
91 is when he was diagnosed.
Wow. Favre is like what 50-ish, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so prayers to Favre. I know the whole Mississippi stuff is a bit weird, but prayers to him. Hopefully he lives as life as best as he can, per se.
Yeah.
Okay, we've gone for a long time, so I do want to leave this last segment. We'll do Wordle for next
Thursday.
episode.
Thursday we'll do Wordle. Maybe we'll play another game. Maybe we'll decide is this a hockey player or something else.
Oh God, I'll be ready. Hopefully, I'll try my best.
I think it's something funny.
Yeah,
it was funny, but it's not as funny as something else. I got a few ideas running around of what I can do.
You'll cook something.
I'll cook something up.
Yeah,
they're cooking in the lab.
Yeah, but the Irish, they beat Miami.
They did beat Miami. Yeah,
Ohio. Take it away, buddy. How did Notre Dame do this past weekend? I know they won, but your thoughts on the game as they beat Miami 28-3, Ohio?
They won, but I kind of want to, simmer the excitement just a little bit because yet again, we're seeing, especially in the first quarter, we're seeing this Notre Dame team play down the competition. They played a horrific first quarter. I think it was two 3-and-outs and one drive that lasted 5 plays. The fans were booing Riley Leonard. I think we've been sold a bale of goods on Riley Leonard. He is not a good quarterback. He's a very good rusher, and I want to say maybe it's time for a position change, move it to a running back, move it to wide receiver. But if Notre Dame wants to actually compete and go for national championships, Riley Leonard is not the guy. Riley Leonard is a worse version of Ian Book. At least Ian Book could throw the ball. All right, Riley Leonard can't. It's surprising because all offseason we talked about mobility going to be gone because he had the ankle surgery. He's had a bunch of them. That was our concern. It was like, okay, at the very least, he'll be a good enough passer. It's kind of flipped right now where he's a really good runner, but just not a good passer. So I don't know do we make a quarterback change? What's going on with the coaching staff? But hey, like always, the defense bailed us out. The offense was able to get back on track somewhat, getting 28 points. And an overall victory. You can be happy about it. Be happy for the defense. Played a great game. Defense has really been saving us this year because, this works against Miami of Ohio, but Louisville's coming in next week. Mm-hmm. And that's a huge game for if the Irish want, to be talked about again like they were after beat Texas A&M, where they're almost like a lock for the postseason at this point. They have to beat Louisville. And if you start out slow like you did on Saturday and dig yourself a hole, against a team like Louisville, you might not be able to dig yourself out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Against a team that's underwhelming in Miami of Ohio, but not the 15th best team in the country. Not a team like Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan to an extent, USC. You're not doing it against them.
And, this part of the schedule, if I'm not mistaken, right, this is when the games start to really matter when it comes to rankings, and these is where the opponents really start to get tougher. And
Yeah.
Louisville is the first test.
Louisville's the first test. I think it's Louisville and then Stanford at home. Then we're on the road in Georgia Tech. We really don't play another marquee opponent until USC on November 30th. Like, we had Florida State as the other marquee, but they're so bad right now that like it's not really worth anything. So this is a big this is a big. If Notre Dame can win, it's big.
Yeah, 100%. This you beat
washes the taste of the NIU loss out a little bit and be like, all right, they lost NIU, but they beat 2 ranked opponents. So like that is impressive.
Yeah, I'm looking at the schedule again. So yeah, it's a lot of home games for the Irish, but
Home games.
home because Georgia Tech is at a neutral location. Same with Navy, same with Army. So technically, you guys have 4 home games for the next 8 weeks.
We don't play an actual road game until the USC game.
Quite a while.
Yeah.
So we'll get your preview on Notre Dame against Louisville on Thursday. I do want to mention real quick. I know you heard about Jaden Mickey.
Yes, transferring.
Thoughts on that real quick, bud, before we head off for the day.
It sucks, but sometimes guys just won't. It could be something as stupid as not being football related. It could just be he's not liking the school. He's not liking this. Not liking that. So, as someone who has transfer schools, I do kind of have a soft spot. It does suck, but like I get it. I understand where you're coming from. I've been in that mind. It's not an easy decision to decide to move schools, especially when you've been recruited, all of this great stuff, and then move on anyway.
Yeah, so Jaden Mickey
sucks, but like I don't like judging people without knowing the full. Maybe he's got a family sick and he's trying to get closer out to them.
Yeah,
I haven't looked into it that much. I just seen he's transferring. Like, that sucks. But like from my own experience, and it's a fraction of what he's going through. I know how hard that is, so I know he's not. He's thought long and hard about this.
Yeah. He said, with a heavy heart, I will be redshirting this year with plans on transferring after I graduate in the spring. Mickey committed to Notre Dame as a 4-star recruit, playing 11 games as true freshman season. Started 1 game against USC as a sophomore. He played in all 13 games, but only started 2 of them. This season, Benjamin Morrison has been an All-American caliber corner, as you know, and he was always going to be ahead of Mickey on the depth chart. And then Christian Gray.
Mickey wouldn't start until next year, but he'd just be like, the recruits are better than me behind me. I'm not seeing the field this year. I might be a little rusty. Like, I'm going somewhere just new.
And then, if it's so without Mickey now, it's going to be Leonard Moore, the freshman, if an injury to one of the top starting corners on Notre Dame happened. But, at the end of the day, definitely understand Mickey's decision. But, hey, that's the power of the transfer portal. I mean, you can redshirt a season and just hope you can just
can happen a lot more decisions like these. We're just going to see guys just be like, I'm out.
Yeah, 100%. So, all right, yeah. So we'll get your preview on Notre Dame on Thursday. We'll talk about the Giants-Dallas game once again. Final injury report should be out, but overall, heck of a weekend. Wins for your Irish. Wins for the Mets. Congrats to you guys.
Big series in Atlanta starts tonight, 7:20, first pitch.
Who's pitching tonight?
I believe Severino is on the mound for us tonight.
Beautiful. Let's do it. Hey, man.
I think it's Severino and Mania. So, like, is our 1 through 3 in a play. This is a playoff series right now.
Beautiful. Love to see it, baby. Love to see it. Yeah, my Phillies clinched, so I'm rooting for you guys, man. Just get in, and it's gonna be a fun. If we see you guys in the postseason, definitely gonna be some fun episodes that we'll be recording, for sure. So rooting for you guys, man. Hope you guys make it, because Citi Field deserves to have a playoff appearance or playoff team play, and these Mets.
Man, Mets are fun. Mets are special.
Don't know how you guys did it. Remember the beginning of the season? You know, so many doubts with the pitching and stuff. Well, hey, sometimes they can surprise you, and they turn it around.
Team in baseball since like May 30th. Past 101 games, they have more wins than anyone else. Like it's truly unbelievable the turnaround this team has had.
It's not about how you start. Hey, amen to that, buddy. All right, folks, I'll do it for episode 26 of season 2 of the Third and 10 podcast. Whole lot of fun. Talked a lot about football. Our Giants finally in the win column. Proud of our boys, man. Let's keep it up on Thursday, and we'll go from there. So for Brian, I'm Nate. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening to the Third Time Podcast. We'll see you guys in the next one.